Hello and welcome to Lesson 5 of the First Steps Keyboard Tutor book. In this lesson you will learn about the chord of G, you'll also learn about the scale of C, and you'll also learn about tied notes. So far you've only learnt one chord, which is your chord of C. Now we're going to add the chord of G to the mix as well. Now to play the fingered chord of G, you play the notes G, B and E. Now the more astute players out there will have noticed that whenever you go from the C chord to the G chord, the G note remains the same in both. So use that as a way of checking that you're playing the chord correctly. So your first two tasks is practicing the left hand, and so you're playing I can play pop, C and G chords. Now even though there are voices written at the top, you don't need to worry about those because both these exercises are just going to be with your left hand. So the first one is an 8-beat set on 100, which is on. So I'll put the synchro start on. Now you're going to be counting 8 counts under chord C, then 8 counts under chord G, like this. Then in the next exercise, I can play waltz, pop, C and G chords. You put the waltz tempo in. There it is. Synchro start goes on. Now because it's a 3/4 time, you're counting 6 counts on each of the chords, like this. Right, so let's move on to the scale of C major. Now to play a scale correctly, it's best to put the scale setting on piano. And also remember, you have to take off your fingered as well. And the reason for that is that the notes won't come up correctly in the left hand as separate notes unless you set the keyboard off the fingered setting. So a scale is a group of 8 notes. We haven't got 8 fingers. So what we have to do is make an extension with our hand by putting our thumb under, like this. Thumb goes under. There's 3 notes left, so finger 3 goes over. Now the same will apply with your left hand, but you'll reverse it around. But also notice that with your left hand, it's written in the bass clef. Now we move on to a piece called the Scaly Snake. Aptly called because if you look at it from above, it looks like a snake going around and around like that. Now this piece actually starts with a scale of C major, going up and down, and then from that you've then got some more notes just to finish it off. Now the suggested voice for this is the trombone, which I'm going to put in now, just to right hand. Next we move on to the tied note. So a tie is a curved line that connects 2 notes with the same position on the staff. So a tie tells you to play the first note only and you hold it on for the length of both notes. So your first task that you're doing here is a writing task where you've got a selection of ties and you work out how many counts each of the ties is and you write it in the box below. Then this leads to your final piece for lesson 5, called playing tied notes. Now this piece is very difficult to play, so I suggest when you do practice it, you break it down. Don't be in a rush to try it with a beat and the backing straight away. Do lots of right hand practice to start with so that you get used to counting your ties. Then you can try it with both hands without the beat, practicing it with your chords, and then eventually then try it with the backing. Now do remember that for this piece you need to put your fingered back on. So we're going to set it now so it's on oboe, which is in woodwind. There we go. We've already got the waltz in and we've got the tempo in set at 100. You put your synchro on again. And that completes lesson 5.